What's going on, guys? This is Coach Stefano from Stefano's Training Systems. In today's video, I'm going to share with you guys how academies are ruining players. And if you guys are new to my channel, hit the subscribe button, drop a like, share it if you think it's worth sharing. Alright guys, check it out. So there's a couple different concepts that I want to cover today. And now, academies ruining players is nothing new, and there's a lot of things to cover, how and why they're ruining players, but I'm going to go over a couple of fundamental things right now that are very important, and I think by me sharing this with you guys, that you guys will get something out of it. Okay, so for an academy in New Jersey, it can range from $2,000 to $4,000 a year, okay? The money that you're paying, right, you usually get 2, maybe 3 practices a week. During those practices, there's a lot of line drills, meaning that you wait until it's your turn. There's a lot of water breaks, so on and so forth. Okay, 1. 2, let's say the weekend happens and you have a game. Now let's say it's 11v11 and you get to play the entire 90 minutes. On average in the EPL, the English Premier League, 11v11 players get 53 seconds of time on the ball during the game. So that means for the other 98% of the game, they're without the ball, right? So it's very hard to develop if you're constantly playing on the big field and not getting the ball a lot, right? That's a lot of time spent not making decisions, not receiving the ball, touching the ball, taking players on, so on and so forth. The execution of skills, right? So if you're only touching the ball 53 seconds, and if you get the entire 90 minutes, right? And there's line drills at practice, there's water breaks, so those practices you're not really doing that much anyway either, right? Now let's compare that to players in Brazil, right? There's not a tremendous infrastructure where they have a ton of academies, right? So most people, they get a couple buddies, they're playing 4-on-4, 5-on-5, right? In the 5-on-5 or the 4-on-4 situations, the players touch the ball and make 200 to 400% more contacts on the ball, and the ball goes out of bounds less, and they're constantly dealing with the environment. So for example, you're playing on a bumpy street or you're playing on a bumpy field. Now that's another challenge that you have to adapt to, because you have to try to control a bouncing ball or a ball that's getting away from you all the time, right? So you have more time spent in in-game situations, and because the game in the field is smaller, right, you're going to be touching the ball more, you're going to be receiving it more, it's going to go out of bounds less. So you're constantly on the ball compared to the 53 seconds for the 90 minutes, right? Now, in academies in New Jersey, let's say you have a game in New York or you have a game in Massachusetts, right? So you're driving multiple hours one way just to hope you get playing time. Now, I had days where I wasn't even rostered, right? So that 53 seconds just went to 0, right? Which wasn't already a lot anyway, right? But let's say now you get subbed in, you only play 20 minutes. Of those 20 minutes, you're going to touch the ball. Let's say for the 90 you got 53 seconds. Now for the 20 minutes, you're not even going to get, what? You're going to get 10 seconds on the ball, right? So because you just spent 2 hours one way and you only got X amount of playing time, and then you have to drive 2 hours home. In those 5.5 hours that you spent trying to play for an academy, if you had just went to a park and played 4-on-4 with players, maybe they're a little bit older than you, maybe a little bit better than you, right? In that environment, you would have developed and got more touches in game faster and for a lot cheaper, right? But that aside, right? And you could have also worked on skill acquisition, going into deep practice, working on the same movements over and over again, the same situations over and over again, and then applying them in the pickup game, right? So $4,000 a year, $2,000 to $4,000 a year for something that doesn't give you time on the ball in game. And that's what soccer is all about, being an independent problem solver and using fluid intelligence to solve new situations. Every game is different, so you need to have the ability to solve for that new situation that arises, right? So if I could go back in time, I would not have played academy soccer, and I would have tried to focus on smaller sided environments and acquired skills on my own. And now you might be thinking, yeah, but when you go to college, it looks good, right? You want the college exposure, the showcase tournaments. Okay, so when I was going to try to play college soccer, I had left the academy at like 15, 16, which was supposed to be the make or break year for trying to get into college, right? And as a junior in high school, I got a verbal commitment from a Big Ten Division I school by simply going to their clinic and then playing the best that I could. If you go to the place and you demonstrate, yes, I can play. Yes, I am good enough, right? They don't care if you're from travel soccer, academy soccer. It's about, are you good enough, right? Not to mention some schools have walk-ons, right? I've seen a couple kids go from walk-on to in-game minutes for a college team, right? And it didn't matter whether they were travel or not because they're walking on, right? So again, if I could go back in time, I would have focused on in-game situations using small-sided games, acquiring more skills, and then also working on my strength, fitness, things like that a little bit more. And the beauty of not being on an academy team is that you have the time to do that rather than running from practice to practice to game to tournament here, tournament there, right, and burning out. You actually get the chance to focus on what you need and work on it. In conclusion, in essence here, for everyone who wants to get better at soccer and they're on their youth soccer journey, make sure you're doing a lot of small-sided. Make sure you're watching a lot of soccer games, and make sure that you're constantly doing deep practice, really focusing on what you need to make your game better. And by doing those things, that's how true development happens. Not from just being on a really good team and hoping you guys win. Okay, guys? So in-game situations, a lot of contacts on the ball, and skill acquisition. You guys will get better at soccer faster rather than wasting time and money in an academy. Okay, guys? So if you like the video, please comment, share, subscribe, and like. What is real cannot be threatened. In the world, but not of it. Peace.